Welcome to day 2 of 12 Days of Christmas Cards 2014 with Justine. Today we're learning white on white cards with night scenes. Let's get started. Alright, to get started with this card, I'm going to experiment a little bit with this stamp set from Hero Arts. This is a reverse background stamp, which means that when I stamp this out, these trees are actually going to be white and showing through, and this background here is what's actually going to stamp. Now, I was going to stamp it in one solid color, but then I decided why not try a couple of techniques and see what happens. So I decided to take some Black Soot from Tim Holtz, Dusty Concord, and Chip Sapphire ink, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually try to blend the inks on the actual stamp set itself. So I'm going to start off with, I think, my lightest color, which is the Dusty Concord, and I'm going to try and make sort of a gradient effect. So I'm going to start off with the Dusty Concord on the bottom, and I'm just going to tap that on. It doesn't matter where on this I stamp it, because as I said before, I am cutting it out. So I'm just going to put it on there and rub and see what happens. Wow, I really like the way that that turned out, minus the fact that we got a little bit of ink in the snow. But I think I am going to cut that out so that you don't see it. I'm just going to put away my inks here. And I'm actually bringing you two cards today using this night sky effect. So there's going to be a little bit more later on in the video. Now, I cut out this window die from Cricut with my Cricut. I've always wanted a die cut of this window set, but I've always found that, I don't know, I have a hard time investing in a Cricut and then investing also in die cuts that I'm not sure I'm going to use all the time. Now, I'm going to lay this down on here and kind of see where I want it to be. I'm going to actually just quickly trim this out with my scissors, and nothing straight or anything. I'm just going to try and cut out as much as that little spot that I got in there. And then I'm just going to attach it to my window and trim it down. Okay. So again, I want to cover that. And I mean, really, if you're looking out a window, usually you don't see super high snowbanks anyway, so I think putting it too low would make it look somewhat unrealistic. And I'm going to put some glue, and again, from my last video, there's no particular reason why I'm using glossy accents for this. It's just because I'm out of glue and it's coming in at the end of the week. Yay! So I'm just going to kind of put that around the sides and on the top. And then I'm going to place that, I think, right about there. Yeah, that looks good. So I'm just going to trim out the side here. Again, you can make this so that when you can make the panel actually smaller so that when you stamp on it, it just is the perfect shape. That would probably be, if you're making this in multiple bulk cards, that would be definitely a lot smarter. Okay. And you want to make sure that your fingers are ink free when doing this, because you don't want to get it on your white window, because I'm actually doing kind of a white on white card. So with that being said, I'm just going to go quickly wash my hands. Alright, so now that I'm all finished washing my hands, make sure that you wipe your work surface before getting started again, just in case any of the distress ink is sitting on there. You don't want it on the end up on the back of your card space, or on the card base, sorry. This is my card base. I created a top folding 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card. As you can see, this fits perfectly on there. And I see that I need to trim a little bit more off the side of the back panel of this die cut piece. And then I have to see kind of how I'm going to mount this on there. The next thing I want to do is stamp my sentiment. I'm going to be using this Peace on Earth stamp from Simon Says Stamp. And I'm going to actually use the Peace on Earth greeting as well. I'm going to stick this on my stamp press. I wanted to ink it up sort of in a navy blue color, but I don't want to use a Distress ink. I find that for sentiments it's not the crispest ink, so I'm just going to go grab a different ink color. Okay, so I'm going to ink up my sentiment using Outdoor Denim ink from Close to My Heart. And again, you've come so far on your card, you want to make sure that you don't have any ink residue around your sentiment, just in case it happens to get on your card. I always find that such a shame. Okay. And I like the way that that turned out. I think it looks really great. I'm going to mount this onto my card base and then see if there's anything else I may want to add to the card. As I've said in many of my previous videos, I don't actually make my cards in advance. I make them as I go so that you can see my creative thought process. And so none of these are planned out ahead of time. They're just very well edited. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So I'm just going to add these onto the back. It's kind of tedious work with fake fingernails, so I'm just going to skip on to the next part. I finished, I put 6 3D dots on there. These are really strong dots. I can't remember where I got them. I think I got them at the dollar store, I'm not gonna lie. And I really, really like the way that they look because they are super strong and I find I don't get a lot of sag with them. All right, so I think I'm gonna stop there. I think it looks like a really sort of clean card, and the 3D effect, I was kind of worrying about the white on white and it kind of fading into each other, but I find the 3D effect of the card really actually gives it that nice shadow on the back, and I love the way that it turned out. So I hope you enjoyed this card. I'm going to show you a really, really quick video using a similar technique as the Night Sky as a second card and a bonus card for the 12 days of Christmas tutorials. So I'll actually just have that in a high-speed video because I've already explained how to do everything, and you can just sit down and watch. Alright, welcome to the second card. As I said, I'm going to end up putting you all in fast mode and just going along with it, but anything that I'm doing new, I am going to stop and chit-chat with you. Alright, so I have a piece of 2 1/4 by 5 inch cardstock. I always tend to have these little pieces left over when I'm doing card bases with 12 by 12 cardstock. The second thing, I don't know how well this die cut turned out, so I'm not sure if I'm going to use it, but I created this sort of nativity scene on masking paper. And I used the paper setting on my Cricut Explore, so we will see how this turns out. Alright, so it did turn out really well except for one little small rip, but I think I'll be able to deal with that without any issues. So I'm going to put this masking, it's actually masking paper, which means it's really thin, and that's why the Explorer was kind of having a little bit of a hard time, because it's just so thin and finicky, and it's also on an adhesive background, so yeah, I kind of tested its limits today. Alright, and I see there's just one little piece still stuck in there. There we go. All right, perfect. So now I'm going to do that Night Sky technique again as you saw with the stamp that I did, and I'm just going to use my sponges to do that, and I'm just going to put you on fast mode. Okay, as you see that did not turn out the way I wanted it to. So what I did was I cut out an actual star using my Cricut. That is not hand drawn because, you know, I should know better by now that I really can't draw. And what I'm going to do, instead of taking the star itself, I'm actually going to peel the whole background off, take the star out carefully. Again, it's masking paper, so it doesn't cut the best on the Cricut. And I'm going to place that over my disaster. Like so. I'm just going to take, you can use the Versamark marker again, or you can just take the Versamark ink like so. There we go. I want to make sure that's nice and covered. I'm gonna take my embossing powder. It's gonna stick. Okay, so as I was saying before my iPad ran out of space, I said it was gonna stick to the masking paper. That's okay. I took the masking paper off, and now I'm just gonna heat emboss this, and you'll see that my disaster turned into something pretty. All right, not too bad for a mistake. Okay, so the last thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take another top folding card and place this on there. I'm not gonna pop this up on 3D this time. There's my little trick to keeping the Glossy Accents bottle tube from not clogging up, is I stick a needle in it, and usually the needle sticks nice, and then I put some glue in the top of the lid, but every once in a while I have to re-glue that needle back into the lid, and when I take off the lid anyway, the needle comes out and it's not clogged anymore. So smart. All right. So that's finished. Now I just want to put in my sentiment, and I'm all done. Now I took the same stamp as I did before, or stamp set as I did before, but this time I picked the sentiment Good Tidings of Great Joy. Now you could have made this a clean and simple card and had not had that panel that I just did. Just as a tip, you can use masking paper or masking tape, and you could have did your starry background right on the paper, and that would have looked also really fantastic, I think. Now I wanted a really simple sentiment here because I found the big sentiments just didn't work because it's just so pretty, and I didn't want to distract from that. And so that's all I'm going to do. It looks a little plain, but I really like the way it looked. And if you're doing, as I said, if you're doing bulk cards, what you could do is take a piece of the Inkadinkado masking tape, mask paper, a whole sheet of it. You could have cut out using your Cricut or die cuts or whatever. You could have actually cut out this rectangle pattern, cut out your nativity scene, and cut out this. So you would have had the masking paper around the rectangle and this rectangle blank. You would have stuck on your nativity scene. I actually like the way that that didn't turn out there. I think it looks fantastic. And so you would have glued on that and glued on the star, or stuck it on there, sorry. Did your night sky and then just removed everything. And you could have reused that masking background that you created over and over again. So that would be a really great way to do this in a bulk card set. Now, on to today's giveaway. So I'm giving away actually 5 of these cards. So you get to choose from either this card that I just made or the previous card with the window night scene. I'll make 5 cards. I'll send you the cards, the envelopes, and you can send those out as your own personal Christmas cards to any friends or family. I love giving away homemade cards. Throughout the 12 days of Christmas, I'm going to be doing other giveaways, not only for just my handmade cards, but also for product. So I hope you'll continue watching. Please click the subscribe button and the thumbs up. The thumbs up helps YouTube tells YouTube that you like to watch these types of videos. And the subscribe button will help you not miss out on another of the 12 days of Christmas tutorials. I hope you enjoyed these 2 card tutorials. Now, all you have to do to win the giveaway is to comment below what is your favorite Christmas song to listen to, and do you listen to Christmas music while crafting? All right, thank you so much again for watching. Thumbs up, subscribe, and we'll go on to day 3 tomorrow. I'm looking forward to creating another card with you. Thanks so much.